I'm curious. How did cannabis come into your life?
So cannabis came into my life exactly like that. It showed up
Okay.
on my doorstep,
Okay.
and I think it was fascinating because at the time, so I was at a company, a startup actually,
Mm-hmm.
where I was a part of the founding team, and it was a Google-backed Y Combinator startup in the fintech space.
Okay.
And I was doing well there, enjoying my work, everything was going great. And when you're working in any of these capacities, I'm sure in any industry, you get headhunter messages from folks,
Yeah.
and you get the usual suspects that show up, Google or an Amazon or Facebook, et cetera. And at the time, I just wasn't interested in doing that because I didn't want to be a part of a 100,000, 200,000 person organization.
Right.
I preferred being in a smaller company where I had impact,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think that was more interesting to me. And then one day I got a message that came in from someone at Weedmaps, and that was something that when it shows up in your inbox, it's kind of hard to ignore. It just kind of stands out from everything else. And it's interesting because I remember my first reaction, to be
Yeah.
completely frank, my first reaction was, I don't think so. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's what really piqued my curiosity was that response was so knee jerk, right?
Uh-huh.
I didn't really think about it. It just kind of happened.
Yeah.
And I pride myself on being a thinking kind of guy.
Uh-huh.
And I realized that there was no thought in that decision whatsoever. And I asked myself the question, why is that? Where does that come from? And so I decided to do a little homework because I realized I really don't know anything about that space, right? Like, how
Mm-hmm.
should I think about that space? Because I haven't thought about it from that perspective. And so I decided to do some homework. And as a part of that, it doesn't take much to quickly realize that even now, 4 years ago, when I started that conversation, here we have a massive opportunity
Mm-hmm.
that is pre-mainstream adoption. I think as far as the question of where it's going to go in the long term, really you just have to ask, do you believe that legalization is going to happen, yes or no, right? And I think the good news is you have a trail of data that you can follow. And so, I think at the time it was 21 states going towards eventually
Mm-hmm.
28 states that were going to be legalized in some form or fashion, of which quickly, not too long thereafter, it was 11 states that were adult use. And now here we stand today at 33 states, right?
Mm-hmm.
With 15 states now adult use
Well,
legal.
yeah.